Welcome back to First and Gold. I'm your host, Sam Gold. Today, we are going to do the Week 6 predictions for the 2025 NFL season. So let's hop right into it as we have just a great Thursday night football game. Giants-Eagles. Did they not see the Giants-Chiefs game just 3 weeks ago? And they're like, no, let's roll it right back. Let's dim the lights. Here we go. As Ryan Seacrest would say, shout out American Idol. I'm one of the only 2 people on earth that still watch that show. But anyways, let's talk about football. Okay, this game is not really that fun to talk about. And I can't really say much except I hope and pray that Jackson Dart can not see ghosts the entire time against this very solid Eagles defense. I think that the matchups are pretty bad right now. And I thought that if they even had Malik Neighbors, he was going to have a tough time against Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. So the fact that it's Darius Slayton and who else going out there, I don't see the Giants actually scoring a touchdown in this game. I'm going to be completely honest. I know that might be negative. Maybe Jackson Dart bounces back. Maybe he plays better at home. I don't know. But overall, I do think that the Eagles are going to have this game where they're going to blow the Giants out. And everybody's going to think, okay, the Eagles are back. They put together 2 halves of football. And then whoever the Eagles play next week, they're probably going to end up having a close game against them because that's just how their season has gone. And I feel like this is the perfect storm for people to be faked out by how good the Eagles really are. So I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this one 27-6. And then if you thought it couldn't get any worse for New York football on a standalone game, let's head all the way back to London and serve them up Jets-Broncos. This is what you guys get for the Revolutionary War. I'm just saying. Like, we're going to keep giving you Jaguars and Browns and Jets. Like, this is just going to happen for the rest of the time, so deal with it. Once again, just like, I feel like this is a weird start to this episode because, once again, the matchups are horrible. Like, the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They were the team that shut down the Eagles in the second half of last week's game. And who's going out there and doing anything about it for the Jets? I mean, this could be the boiling point for, let's say, Breece Hall, who, honestly, he should be on the trading block come closer to midseason here. I'm a Chiefs fan. Maybe we give them a call. We'll see. But overall, I just don't see how the Jets can keep getting up for games like this. Like, they just got their ass kicked against one of the worst defenses in the NFL, where they had basically no points, like, going late in the game. And now they're going to have to travel all the way to Europe to go play this Broncos defense. And it's like, Justin Fields has barely learned anything from his, like, 5-year career now? He has been the same exact player since setting foot on the field in his rookie year. Like, he just hasn't learned much. Now, half of it's not his fault because he just had some bad head coaches, well, he's had Mike Tomlin, but he doesn't really coach those type of quarterbacks well. Like, he's just had bad situations. So, overall, I have zero hope left for the Jets. The Broncos are winning this game, and they're doing it with ease, and it's going to be ugly, 23-9. All right, now it's time for the 2017 rematch of the game where Seahawks players literally got into fights with Jaguars fans in the front row of the stands. If anybody remembers that game in Jacksonville, that was fun. The last time these 2 teams played, I'm pretty sure the Seahawks won like 38-7 at home, where DK Metcalf had a great over-the-shoulder catch, 50-50 ball. That's all I remember. This game is very interesting. I think 2 underrated defensive units going at it. I gotta be honest, I can't believe I'm saying this in 2025, but there's a decent disparity between Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold, and it's positive in the Sam Darnold side of things. So that kind of sucks. Look, we're filming this before Chiefs-Jags, so maybe the Jags go up and upset the Chiefs on Monday Night Football and everything looks different, but
you serious?
The Seahawks have the better team. I do think it's going to be close. I'm going to go with Sam Darnold as a small bounce back, even though he did great last week, but no turnovers in this game. I'm going to call it right here, and the Seahawks are going to win this thing 23-20. All right, and then the Miami Dolphins host the Chargers. This has the potential of being the uniform matchup of the week. I'm fine with the Dolphins not wearing aqua at home here. If they go white with aqua pants and the Chargers go powdered blue with yellow pants, beautiful. In the Miami sun, that's going to look great. But we all know what's going to happen. The Chargers are somehow going to go like all navy and the Dolphins are going to go all white, and it's just going to be ruined. But, you know, I still have faith in the uniform gods. We'll see what happens. But anyways, that's all aesthetics based. Let's talk about the game. Look, the Chargers have had a tough last couple of games so far, but if there's a bounce back to happen, especially for the offense, especially against a team that doesn't have much of a pass rush in the Dolphins, this has got to be the game to do it, because you're not just going to go ahead and be like, yep, we're the Chargers of the last 20 years, let's go 8-9. No, you got to go out and win this game. The Dolphins defense is horrible. Even if you put up 27 points, that's good enough. You just have to make sure you're limiting Jalen Waddle and Devon Achane. And I do think John Harbaugh, as great of a defensive coach he is, he's going to find a good game plan to do that. I'm predicting Tua to have like 2-3 interceptions in this one. I just think, once again, this could be maybe on the board to fire Mike McDaniel, depending how bad the loss is. But I don't know. I just see the Dolphins kind of riding out the season until it gets really ugly towards the end. And this is just going to be another loss tacked onto the record. So, yep, as much as it pains me to say it as a Chiefs fan, I am picking the Chargers to win this game 30-17. All right, now time for the 2023 rematch of the Rams-Ravens overtime game from last year. The last 3 times these teams have played each other, it's been at Ravens for some reason, but here we go. This is probably a 1-5 start for the Ravens. Now, I do think Lamar Jackson is probably going to be playing for this game, but overall, I just think the Rams are the better team. I mean, you're still going to have the weak defense that you have, regardless of how many people are coming back from injury. And I do think this is not a game where Derrick Henry's going to bounce back, because the Rams defense is one of the best in the NFL. Listen, the Chiefs started 1-5 in 2015. That was with Alex Smith, and they ended 11-5. So anything's possible, especially with Lamar Jackson. But I'm just saying, you still have not played the Steelers this year, and I don't think it's going to be as bad as the Texans game. But yeah, I just don't see how you're putting up that many points. I'll give you some garbage points at the end, but I think the Rams are going to win this one 34-23. All right, and then Cardinals at Colts. Colts win it 24-20. Okay, and then the rematch of the Week 15 game from last year, Cowboys at Panthers, where the Cowboys put up like 37 points. But anyways, I think the Cowboys right now are, if your offense is not having a good day, you're probably going to lose the game. But fortunately enough, I actually think quietly their defense has gotten a little bit better in a couple of ways. I like their pass rush the last couple of weeks. And I do think with the Panthers offensive line and Bryce Young's inability to make quick decisions, especially in the first half of games, this is not a terrible matchup for the Cowboys. So, man, it's kind of like you're kicking yourself for not winning the Packers game, because you could be 3-2 right now, maybe looking at 4-2 against this Panthers team. But look, I do think the Cowboys are going to have a pretty easy time moving the ball on offense. And if you're a Panthers fan, the only thing you're looking for right now is for Bryce Young to actually show some consistency. But knowing the way they've been this season, it looks like they're probably going to get their ass kicked, because they've been so hot and cold every single week. Kind of similar to the Ravens, I'll give the Panthers a few garbage touchdowns toward the end, so it's going to look a little closer than it is. But yeah, screw it. I'm going to have the Cowboys putting up 37 like they did last year in Carolina. So I'm going to have the Cowboys winning this game 37-24. All right, next up is Patriots-Saints. Patriots fans, don't worry. Tyrann Mathieu is not going to start off the game with a pick six, just like 2 years ago. And also, this game's in New Orleans, so I feel like the vibes are different. And not just because of aesthetics, but because the Patriots are actually a competent, solid football team with an up-and-coming quarterback in Drake May. And I feel like this is the perfect storm coming off of the back of a big Sunday Night Football win in Buffalo to go out and prove your worth even more by beating up on a bad team in the Saints. Spencer Rattler, I like the guy. I think he's actually been not a terrible quarterback this year, but the Saints got their win last week, and I feel like this is kind of time for them to crawl back into their, bottom 3 teams in the NFL. And I think the Patriots are going to steal the spotlight in this one and win pretty handedly. And I think the score is going to be 27-14 Patriots. All right, now it's time for a gritty defensive matchup. Browns at Steelers. And I am 100% going to regret doing this, because when do they ever go in and beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh? But for some reason, there's this gut feeling sometimes, even though I'm supposed to be an analyst on my podcast, there's just feelings and vibes to a game. And I don't know what it is, Maybe it's the fact that the Steelers have started 3-1. Maybe it's the fact that I'm not that impressed with their offense thus far, even though Aaron Rodgers, he's taking care of the ball. He's done what he needs to do. He's a game manager at the moment. DK's had a nice season. But don't underrate this Browns defense anymore. And I know a lot of people are coming along to them, but they are a top 3 unit in the NFL, especially their run defense. They've been shutting down guys left and right. Doesn't matter how much of a star they are. Honestly, I can just see this as a storm. The Steelers are coming back from a bye. They're feeling good. Top of the AFC North. Nobody's really catching up to them. They're at home. Maybe they kind of like sleepwalk their way through this. And then out of nowhere, Myles Garrett, he's getting his 2nd sack. He's getting his 3rd sack. Maybe he gets a fumble. It's like a 13-13 game in the 4th quarter. And all it takes is for Aaron Rodgers to feel some pressure and throw a pick late in the game. Maybe Dylan Gabriel goes out and gets his first win as a starter. Now, I am not going to go ahead and bet my money on the Browns winning this game, but screw it. It's my upset alert of the week, and I'm picking the Browns to win in Pittsburgh in a classic AFC North matchup and score 16-13. If you're as a diehard football fan as I am, and you hold yourself high that you go out and watch the majority of every single game every single week, that's great. I do the same thing. But if you go out and watch Titans Raiders this next weekend, you got to call somebody. You got to go do something, because this is not good. I don't know if there's something mentally going on in your life, but I don't suggest this to anybody. And I'm having the Raiders winning this game, where Geno Smith just barely saves his career, 17-14. Okay, this one's going to be a fun one. Sunday at 4:25, the 49ers head to Tampa. Put the Bucs more on primetime, because they're so much fun to watch. I feel like they're always at 1 or 4 o'clock, and I need to see more Baker in my life in a standalone game. But you know what? This one's going to be fun regardless. I know I keep saying this the entire episode, but this is another rematch of last year where Baker had that stiff arm 4th down passing play that was amazing, and then the 49ers ended up winning. But I actually think the Bucs are going to take care of business here at home. I think it's going to be close in the first half. Then they're going to make adjustments. And I just think that Mac Jones, even though he's been really good this year for what expectations were, if he's playing in this game, I don't think he's going to be able to match Baker at home. And I just love the Bucs in this one to win it 34-20. All right, Jake Browning heads to Green Bay, which means he is throwing 4 interceptions. I don't know why he hasn't been benched yet. He's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen this year. I don't care that he had a good 4th quarter in last game. This is a bounce back for the Packers coming off of a bye at home. They're healthier as they ever have been. So, honestly, Bengals fans, just stop watching this season unless you fire Zach Taylor and pick up like James Winston or something, because it's really bad right now. So I'm picking the Packers to win this one 38-18. All right, and I have to say, we've actually been getting a lot of really good Sunday night football games this year, and this is another one. Chiefs, Lions. I don't know what happened in the Chiefs-Jags game. Let's say they're 3-2. So this is a huge one for Kansas City, especially if the Chargers or the Broncos lose this upcoming week. This is big for seeding and the division, but this is probably going to be our toughest opponent of the entire season. Now, if there's one defensive coordinator to go against this juggernaut of an offense at home in primetime, it's Steve Spagnuolo. I think the Lions are certainly going to get theirs in this game, and I would love for Worthy to be fully healthy. I know he's a little bit banged up right now. And if we can just stay tit for tat on offense and Mahomes brings his A game, I do think it's going to be close. Unfortunately, I just see the Lions squeaking one out. I think if we had Rashee Rice, we just get the edge on them. I'm looking out for Josh Simmons against Aiden Hutchinson. That's going to be a great matchup right there. Trent McDuffie in the slot against Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's a lot of marquee matchups going on in this game, which makes it such a fun watch on Sunday Night Football. I'm a little bit worried. I'm actually going to go ahead and pick the Lions in this one, hoping I'm jinxing it. And I'm going to pick them to win it 27-24 in a close one. And then somehow we're getting another Monday night doubleheader. At least these games are a little bit better. Bills at Falcons is the next one. This is so random, but the Bills are going to bounce back. Michael Penix is not going to feel prepared in a primetime game where he's going up against Josh Allen. They're going to have a few fun plays here and there just because the Bills' defense is so bad, but overall, I do think the Bills are still going to ride easy on their schedule and probably end up being, 8-1 before they meet the Chiefs in Week 9. So yeah, I am picking the Bills to win this game pretty solidly, 31-20. And then finally, the rematch of the Hail Mary game back in Washington, Bears at Commanders. I'm hoping the Bears are going to be fired up for this one. Now, Ben Johnson, their head coach, was not the coach when this game happened last year, so he's not going to have any, traumatic memories walking into the stadium. But I'm hoping the Bears don't get too much in their head for this one. I do think they're a better team going into this game than they were last year. I still think they have a lot of faults that could be exposed by this Commanders team. Honestly, Jaden Daniels needs to bring his A game here. I think that he will. He's already looked great coming out of injury against the Chargers. That gives me high hopes. I think it's going to be fun, but it's such a Bears thing to lose in devastating fashion once again. And I think it's going to be because Caleb Williams can't make a decision at the end of this game against this bad defense when he probably is going to miss like a wide open DJ Moore at the end of the game, and he's going to end up throwing it away or throwing an interception. So I'm going to have the Commanders winning this one 27-23 in a fun one. And there you go. Close the book on week 6, as next episode will be the week 6 recap. But guys, if you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below your bold predictions for week 6 of the 2025 NFL season. Follow us at First and Gold on Instagram and TikTok. I'm your host, Sam Gold. We'll see you guys next week for the episode. Goodbye.